My name is Steve, and I'm the Lincoln student pastor, student pastor with Rockford, St. Louis. And we are at the end of the mission trip this week. We started last week. We had about 55 people down at Seward. And it was the second morning of the mission trip. And I had to leave the group and run over to Riverman to do some stuff. And I'm driving back and see the Evelyn's mom in the morning. And I knew that it would be good. It was, we can go into the hospital or something's wrong with her, and she got fine there. I'm driving and she says, Lincoln's dead. I'll never forget the phone call my entire life. My heart was like it stopped because my relationship with Lincoln was very close. He, I remember when I was up here at the Rock one night. I was teaching, and Tyler Unger was always bringing rugrats from the neighborhood. None of them ever seemed to comb their hair cut it. And they come down here in the front, and there's I'll never forget that Sunday night where there was Tyler and little Joey Ryder and little Lincoln Lewis. And I think initially I was like, I'm going to have to deal with these guys. They're going to be a disruption, I could tell already. And then you saw the kids smile, you know, and I was hooked. He was a close friend. I had cried a lot with them, shared a lot of fun times with them. He poured out a lot of his past pain to me from the past. He shared his excitement with me. I don't think I would have imagined that we'd end in a place like this. This was, like I said, we're in the middle of a mission trip, so Lincoln had been on the last 6 mission trips with us, and this was the first time he had come. And I knew that I was going to be speaking this morning. Today's the funeral, but I feel like we're at our 5th funeral already, and it's been good. When I got the phone call, I was terrified because I had 55 people that I had to go tell that their hero and their friend, their intimate buddy had passed away, and that was a really difficult thing to do. My biggest fear for them was how they would respond to that. Would we end this mission that we worked so hard for? And I was just blown away at the faith and the determination and the strength that these youth showed in this past week. Don't get me wrong, we've cried till tears have left. But you know, these guys were strong, and we're going to miss Lincoln. That's the hardest part about it. I was trying to decide what I should talk about for this thing. The mission trip was very busy, and I had little time to sit down and think and prepare. But it hit me when I started to write some things down that I've had 7 years to prepare what I want to say about Lincoln. And I prayed and I asked God to put something in my heart. And it was, he put 3 things very strong in my heart. I want to share this very quickly with you. The first thing that I want to do is talk a little bit about the Lincoln that I knew. He was one of the most fun students that I've ever had around. He had no give up in him. I wrestle and fight with the students a lot, and pretty roughly. Getting older, my biggest fear with Lincoln was he was pretty easy to take in 7th grade. But I began to find out quickly, even though he's small, I better be ready when he gets to be a senior because he's going to take me out. And so I had a lot of fun time with him. When I would wrestle with him, even in 7th grade, as much as I was hurting him, and I had to start hurting him because he wouldn't quit. And but he kept coming. He never ever quit coming. So he was a lot of thinking. He never quit coming. Another thing about Lincoln that people would be surprised about because of his antics and his mischief, he was incredibly respectful, kind and loving kid. He never told me off. If I asked him to do something, which I did a lot, he never said no. Every once in a while he'd smile and say, "Yes, sir." I know he was being sarcastic. It was kind of in there. A lot of times he would call me father as a joke. But I also knew that special bond that we had was important for him, and that was important for me to look for time with him and to love him. Lincoln was a natural leader. I'm not just saying that because it's just, this kid had the potential. And wherever he was, the football team, the youth group, the community, his family, people looked to see what Lincoln was doing and they would go do it. Sometimes leadership can be good, sometimes leadership can be bad, but whatever Lincoln did, he had people that would follow him. I know I went and saw him in the hospital, and he was hospitalized a while back for a bad night that he had. And I went and saw him, and I picked him up, and I was in touch with Coach Hughes, and the school, we were trying to find help for Lincoln. So I sent him out to a friend's place out in the country where he got to spend a few days. And we just got to love him and tell him how awesome he was. I think he was feeling bad about himself. And the one thing that Lincoln kept hearing over and over again was the fact that people looked up to him and that people wanted to be like him. And he said to me that he just can't believe that. Why would people want to look up to him? But that was the reality of it. He was just so infectious. And so we grieve today because we miss him. But God really lit something else in my heart that I want to share with you. The second thing is this. I want to challenge the teenagers, not just the teenagers, but all of us involved in his life to learn from this tragedy. A life apart from God will never bring joy and peace. There's so many things that we can seek after to fulfill a hole in our heart, to find purpose. And I know that Lincoln had some pains that were so deep that some of us couldn't even get our hands around them or understand what he was going through. But it's so evident that a life apart from God will never bring joy and peace. Listen to me, teenagers. Drugs and alcohol will never make the situation better. Never. It might make you feel numb, it might make you feel better in the situation, but they always lead you to a darker, more depressed state. I know that in Lincoln's last year that he was seeking relief from pain with some different pills and alcohol. And that was the way that he was coping. And I thought, as God put this in my heart today, I don't want to be insensitive or judgmental or harsh. But I feel that out of love, I just have to say that as parents, as adults, as coaches, as principals, as leaders, that we need to fight for our kids. At the visitation last night, I began to grow angry. I didn't know where it was coming from. There's no one in particular that I'm angry with. I don't blame anyone for the tragedy that happened with Lincoln. I don't blame Lincoln. But I was angry. I was angry because we lost out on a kid that didn't need to have that happen to him. I was angry that we live in a community that accepts drugs and alcohol. I was angry because sometimes when teenagers go out and party the way that they do, we just like to say, oh, they're just trying to cool off, or they're just teenagers. The reality is it is dangerous to them, and we need to fight for them. And if you're a parent here tonight, I'm speaking to myself. I've had a lot of guilt this past week, things I could have done, I should have done. But we have to learn from this. Fight for your children, because there is someone out there that wants to hurt and harm and destroy your children, and you have to fight for them. I'm a little burdened because even at the Wednesday night thing at Brentwood, where we have the morning for Lincoln, I heard 3 or 4 students say in their response to Lincoln's death, they were going to go party in honor of Lincoln. Parents, we have to wake up. We have to know what our kids are doing. We have to fight for them. Because the reality is God loves them and has an awesome plan for their life, and we have to tell them that. Teenagers, you're worthy. You're worthy of that love from God. You're worthy of that love. And I hope that you don't feel abandoned. I hope that you don't feel pain. Because I want you to know that God has an awesome life in store for you. And you're totally worthy of it. The third thing I want to talk about is I find hope today, as does Lincoln's family, because we all will see Lincoln again. You know, the Bible teaches us this is not our home. This is a temporary place. And it seems like a long time that we're going to be without Lincoln, but in the scope of eternity, it's a blip on the radar. And the great thing is we're in heaven, we're not just going to see Lincoln with the pain and the problems and the sin that we all share together. It's going to be a perfect relationship. And it's going to be awesome. Lincoln was a child of God and he had a relationship with Jesus. I can guarantee you that. No doubts in my mind whatsoever. I want to look at John chapter 14 very quickly. Jesus said one of the most radical things in history in this passage. He was about to leave his disciples, and he knew that he was going to be dying soon for them. And he knew that they were troubled. And so he says this to their disciples, "Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms." He's talking about heaven. "If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. And you know the way to where I am going." One of his disciples, Thomas, said to him, "Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" And then Jesus said something that a lot of people gloss over. But he said something that was very radical. And this line here either makes him a liar, it makes him a lunatic, or it makes him your Lord. Because it wasn't a light thing that he said. He said, "I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." And the way to eternity for God, for Lincoln, was through Jesus Christ. And I know that he places faith in him. And I challenge everyone here today to do the same. I'm going to miss Lincoln terribly. I've been so wrapped up in trying to not lead these youth all week long that I think God's kind of known me a little bit to not have to deal with my own emotions in it. And I'm sure some random commercial next week is going to make me cry for about 2 hours. I'm going to miss him a lot. But I just want to say today that I don't grieve him being gone because I know where he is. I grieve that there's some of these students that don't have a relationship with God. And they're turning their lives to things that won't help build her. And so, in honor of Lincoln, I challenge us today that we learn from some of his mistakes. We remember the great things that he brought us. And we make this.